Hey, what is going on? It's Monday, April 20th. And I tried to upload a video last night. Actually, I got a video taken down that was it was ODD's original video. Passed me a Corona, and it got taken down off his channel a couple weeks ago, and then he re-edited it and put up a shorter version that took out the content that was in question. So my version, his original, stayed up on my channel for that much longer, and then it was taken down yesterday. I went on to YouTube and they told me that it was taken down. I think it's over here. So anyways, the censorship for this topic is like worse than any other thing that I've ever seen. I've never had videos taken down, and I'm mirroring these videos because I'm directing people to my channel through my own activism efforts to get people to have a look at the nonsense that's going on. And the censorship is very telling when they start removing these videos. So you really got to ask yourself, is this pandemic what they're telling us? You know, if you're new to this kind of stuff and you see the censorship happening for this topic, then why are they doing that? Why don't they want you to see this information? This should tell you what's going on here. He had some pretty good information on this video that was very telling to the people who are perpetrating this whole worldwide lockdown on us, the people, us, the peasants. And my little channel of 1.47 thousand subscribers is paltry to someone like ODDTV and many others that I mirror their work. And thank you so much for doing these videos, guys, because you do it well, and I haven't the time nor the skill to do it, so I'll just keep mirroring it, and everyone should be putting this information up. So they're letting a lot of these stand still. I've had some taken down, as I showed you quickly. I don't even remember what this one was, and I don't remember when it got taken down, but it's down. That one is still on Hoax Reality. I think it's called Emergency Broadcast. I tried putting it up twice on 2 different days, and it wouldn't allow me. There's a little part with Tom Barnett, the bearded, bald Australian guy who's really smart. And that's what I've been told, that's why it's probably taken down. So let's go to the previous page, and that's my attempt last night. I left it overnight to finish uploading and came down this morning, and this is what had happened. They just removed it before it even got to go on. So I'll have to upload his short version. And while I got you here, I'll just show you the... I've been getting a lot of interest lately on my truck. I don't have a recent picture to show you, but I have pretty much what's on this piece of paper here, pretty much all these doctors, Dana Ashley video, the ICU nurse. I don't have this channel or this event on my truck, but I did put up the bounty. I put $2 million to prove coronavirus is real or something, and then I gave the blog website and directed them to my channel. So my efforts are paying off. I'm getting people coming to my channel, and that's probably why YouTube is noticing that and are slowly taking these videos down. So if that doesn't tell you new people what's really going on here, then I don't know how else to show you these things are real. We're being fleeced like never before. This is a worldwide lockdown for not what we're being told. And I'm not going to get into details of whether it's this or whether it's that and what's going on. The fact of the matter is it's affecting every single person on earth, and we need to stop this nonsense. We need to stand up for our rights and tell them I'm not going to do this anymore. So I met on Thursday. I came out of the grocery store and there was a business card on my truck window, and it was a woman, a local woman, and she apparently liked my signs, so I emailed her, and she got me to join invited me to join some Facebook groups that are local, and I met some other people. So long story short, Saturday nobody came except for these two women that I met on Facebook who are local. So myself, my spouse, and these two women. I had a couple of signs that I was wearing, pretty much what was on the truck I had on my signs, and we're standing out front of the place that I said to meet up at, and no one was there at first. We went around back, and that's where we met these two women, and then someone that was coming in to go to work at the restaurant saw us standing there, and she looked at my signs and she goes, "What's up?" And I said, "Oh, we're just having a protest to protest the lockdown, and you know, it's not what we're being told." And I started walking over to her, and she just told me to stop and stay back. And then she explained that she's lost a couple of loved ones, or she knew a couple of people who'd passed to this. So I said, "I'm sorry to hear that." I said, "Would you like some information?" And I went to hand her, and she just freaked, and she said, "Just stay back." And then she turned her back on me and proceeded to go into her place of work. So that was that, and then we went out front and we just proceeded to talk, and we stood by my truck. People were slowing down to look, because oh my god, there's 4 people talking on the sidewalk, and they saw my truck, and people were slowing down and whatever. It was kind of neat because we were holding up traffic a bit just with the 4 of us, and they were looking at the truck and my signs on me, and they were like puzzled faces, like, what's going on? So then this lady, we're talking about all kinds of stuff, you know. When you meet like-minded people, you want to talk and talk and talk. So we're talking, and this lady pulls up on the other side of the road, and she's got her window down, and she's got this dirty look on her face. And my back's turned to her, and my new friend across from me is kind of watching this lady. And then wouldn't you know it, a cop shows up, and the woman across the street has got her head out the window. This cop gets out of her car. This woman officer gets out of her car, and the woman looks at the officer and says, like, has her hand out the window, goes, "Really? Like, really? These guys are really doing this?" And then she drives off. And the officer just comes over to us and says, "How's it going, guys? What are we doing today?" "Oh, we're just having a little chat, you know, a little kind of a gathering, you could call it a protest, but nobody showed, so we're just talking. Well, I see you're respecting your social distancing, and there's only 4 of you here, so you're all good. You haven't done anything wrong, and so what are you trying to do here today? And she's looking at my signs that I'm wearing, and I said, well, you see these doctors I have here. These are doctors. They're talking about this, and the mainstream media is not having it. They're not letting these people be heard. They're not letting me be heard. They're censoring us. They're deleting us. There's more to the story than we're being told here. This doesn't qualify as a pandemic. There's really not a lot going on. My wife here works at a hospital, and it's pretty quiet, and a lot of people are filming hospitals, and it's not a lot going on in these hospitals, and it's a very high amount of strangeness to this whole thing. And the officers kind of agreeing and going, yeah, there's a lot of frightened people around, and I don't watch a lot of the media myself. I tend to stay away from it. So it was pretty good. The officer was very nice, very respectful, told us we're doing nothing wrong. If more people show up, then you gotta respect the 5-person thing, and how long are you planning on staying? And the one of my new friends there said she had to go and take a conference call, so she had to leave, and we said we probably wouldn't be staying much longer, and it was kind of a bummer because no one showed, but I got to meet a couple of new people, and I still got all that information out the day before. Whether people chose not to look at it or chose not to show up but did look at it, I've noticed an uptick in my views, so I'm hoping that some people are getting onto this, on top of all the information that's literally on my lawn out front of my road here, which gets curious people daily slowing down to take pictures. It's all working. So we came home on Saturday after that, drove around town a bit more, and actually pulled out in front of an officer vehicle, an SUV, and that officer stayed behind me for a few kilometers. So they got exposed to it, and I thought to myself, well, that would be cool if the officer that came to meet with us in town got talking to the officer that was, because they work at the same station, I'm sure, right in town. And the one got to drive behind me, and the other one got to park behind me and actually meet us on the sidewalk, so I can imagine the conversation they may or may not have had, but that was that. So we drove home, and there was a pile of cars that were parked out front of the parking lot down the road from us, where there's an entrance to a trail to go into the forest, and they've closed down all access points to the wilderness up here. That is in itself just terrible, because that's medicine. That's going into nature and walking in the fresh air and the sunshine. So these people just said screw that and parked on the road, and the signs say trail closed until further notice, and it's barricaded. Well, they're parking on the side of the road and they're going in there, so good on you people. Keep doing that. And I took a short video of it, and no point in even showing it. It's just barricaded and signs up, and that's for all these parking lots, and all the parks around the world, I guess, across the world is all like that, right? So even up here in my little neck of the woods, they're doing it. It's just terrible. So everybody was there parked. We got home, and we took our little boy around, our dog, took him around and came out at that location. And I noticed some people standing on the side of the road up from the park, And oh, I recognized them. They were the people who live in the house there by the park, who I'd never met before. And I struck up a conversation. Oh, we've never met before. We just live around the corner and blah blah blah. So we got talking, and I don't know the order of conversation went, but eventually it came on to this whole thing, and I was warming up to it, but it came up, and she said, "Oh, these people are in their 60s and they're from Europe. They got an accent." So the lady says, "Oh, I was watching. You should watch." She says, "You should watch this. It's called Event 201." And I said, "No way. You're watching the same kind of stuff as we are. You know, you're on the right path." I said, "Here, take this piece of paper. It has some other information on it." I said, "This is my YouTube channel here, and there's Event 201 there, and this is a good YouTube channel here. And these doctors are all talking out about this, and this is a nurse who's talking out on this woman's channel, and this woman's channel is really good." So I gave that to them, and then I started talking about the National Health Service vital statistics, CDC, and they've been sent out a letter, a notice to all hospitals across the world that in the event of a possible COVID, you don't need to do a diagnosis on the person, just label it as a COVID death. And this is how they're doing coding now on deaths. And I said, these doctors are calling this out. This never before happened in the practice of medicine, where you don't have to diagnose somebody, you just label it as this. And then she said, we just had a friend of ours who passed away, 43 years old, and she passed away, and they put it as COVID. But what had happened to this woman was, a week before, she had trouble breathing, and she went to the hospital. They did a swab on her, and I guess they sent her home till they got results back, and she was told she didn't have COVID. It didn't come up. So they just told her to stay at home. Even though she was having trouble breathing, they just said stay at home. So the husband apparently went out to get supplies, groceries, what have you, and the husband came home and the wife had passed. How terrible is that? And then they turned around and they labeled her as COVID after she had... Now I have to verify this myself. This is just coming from them. I haven't looked into the woman, but this is local, south of Milton, Oakville, Ontario. And they have a really big hospital there. And the gentleman even said he drove by that hospital recently, and he went by it slowly just to see, like, and he says, that parking lot's empty, there's no one there. And I said, yeah, this is it. The hospitals are not busy right now. They're laying people off in hospitals. They have time to do TikTok videos and dance around, and meanwhile the media is portraying this as a war zone in these hospitals, and it's not the case. So I'll have to look into what the lady said about this 43-year-old woman who had trouble breathing. And then I asked, do you know the general location of her residence? Because I'd really like to go and see what's around there. Hint, hint. So, kind of a bad day, good day Saturday was, because we met some neighbors that live minutes from our home who are on top of this stuff too. So and they're not very keen on where this is going either, with forced medical procedures. Hint, hint. So I'm optimistic, and my efforts are slowly paying off, but I'm sure that this place here is gonna slowly weed us out. So it's time to get on the BitChute and the LBRY, right? So this video's gone longer than I thought, but if you're still with me, thanks for watching, and I'll be sure to keep uploading all relevant content as this unfolds, because it is the most important topic right now. We have to stop this nonsense and shut this crap down and get rid of the parasites who are perpetuating this hoax. So have a good day. It is beautiful blue sky here in Ontario today. I'm looking out my window. I gotta get out there and build another garden. So get your gardens going, folks. Take care.